Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? So just coming from the gym, so excuse my appearance. But I was thinking while I was in the gym, right? You know, I haven't made a post or anything because sometimes I take a moment and I unplug from the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I unplug from the world and I take that time to, you know, just evaluate myself and see, am I still on track or am I still aligned to receive the things that I'm praying for? And what I was thinking about today while I was doing my cardio, I was just thinking about how people get the wrong idea about what being strong is. Now, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, we used to call that person that's always, you know, acting like they about to fight. We used to say they selling wolf tickets, right? And I'm going to coin that phrase and say a lot of people are, they're selling strength tickets, right? And what that means is that a lot of times we think that strength means you're able to take on so much stuff. And for, you know what I'm saying, the segment of people that is true. But the other segment of people, what starts to become is you become numb. And you mistake numb with having strength. And let me show you what that looks like. When my grandparents passed, you know, after they passed, you know, I started going through so many different things, right? I was still mourning them, but I felt like I didn't even have the real opportunity to mourn because I was dealing with foolishness, right? And going through that, I looked at it as I was strong because I'm dealing with the foolishness. But what was really happening was I had started to become numb to the foolishness. And numb does not necessarily mean strong. See, when you become numb, you just have the ability to just not feel. And not feeling has more of a bad effect than feeling. So here I was thinking I was being strong, right? And I'm just becoming numb to everything, right? But when in my numbness, I stopped depending on God because I felt like I wasn't feeling because I'm strong, but really I had just become numb with the foolishness. And for a lot of people, becoming numb is so detrimental. That's why so many people are in relationships right now and they're getting beat on, they're getting mistreated, they're getting this, that, and the other, right? But they have become so numb that they choose to stay. See, when you have strength is you're feeling this, you don't like how it feels, so you move on. Back in the day, you know what I'm saying, I used to always hear the song, you know, where I'm weak, he is strong, right? Meaning where you're weak, God is strong, right? But if you're so numb, you're thinking that you're strong, but you're really weak. And that weakness causes you to depend on God for your strength. But so many people are in friendships that no longer suit you. That friendship is holding you back from what you are supposed to really be. But you have become so numb with the situation, right? Case in point, this, right? You ever have a conversation with a friend and you leave that conversation drained? Like, instead of pouring into you, they suck everything out of you. So now after that conversation, now you sitting around and you are mentally fatigued. You had a lot of stuff that you were supposed to be doing, but now you have no energy because this person has just sucked out the life in you. Now think about it. Every time you talk to this person, you leave feeling the same thing. So you become numb to that. So every time that phone rings and you answer the phone, you become numb. Right now, it's a false sense of strength because now people are saying, oh, man, you know, I can always pick up the phone and call on her or him because, you know, they're so strong. No, they're just numb. And being numb is never good. It's never good because it gives you a false sense of urgency. Let's just take this, right? Let's take a person who think they can fight and they come from a certain area where everybody's weak. You know what I'm saying? When we went to school, you had that person that was 3 grades behind, right? They were physically imposing to everybody else, right? So when they fought people, they're fighting people 3 years younger, but you're in the same grade. So you start idolizing this person because you like, this person is the strongest, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, right? Then you hit your growth spurt. And that same person that you thought was 7 feet tall, now you looking at them like they are only 5'7". So I spent all of this time thinking that this person was so tough, right? And they have convinced themselves that they're so tough. Now, when everybody's equal, they bring into that situation how they thought that they were, and now they didn't got the brakes beat off of them. They got the brakes beat off of them, right? Because they thought, because of what they were, you know what I'm saying, around. A lot of times things will stunt your growth. And I'm learning this, right? Like I have had to detach myself from a lot of different situations because what I started finding out was I was so tied to seeing certain people make it that I was becoming numb to the fact that even trying to help them sucked the life out of me. It literally sucked the life out of me, right? But I thought that I was just being strong because I was able to do this, that, and the other, right? No. See, there is strength in feeling. There's strength in feeling because when you're able to feel, you know what you need God for. You know what you need God for. There is certain times in my life, even now, that I'm just learning things, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, you know what? I thought I was so strong, but it was just a false sense of security because I had the ability to be numb to it. I used to look at people who were able to compartmentalize so much different stuff. And I used to look at that as a superpower, right? Because I wore my feelings on my sleeve. If I felt a certain way, I was going to tell you. If I thought certain things, I was going to tell you, right? And that's just how I was. And I looked at people who didn't do that. And I used to just be like, man, I wish I didn't care like that. But that's why there's power in the tongue. And I started becoming that type of person to where I can just be like compartmentalizing and be like, oh, this, that, and the other, right? And it stunted me. Because when you're not living in your purpose, you're never comfortable. You will never be comfortable. That's why certain people wake up in the morning. I don't care if they had 12 hours of sleep. They're still tired because they are not living in their purpose. And you mess around dealing with people who are not living in their purpose. And guess what happens? You stop living in yours. So the moral to this is stop. I repeat, stop thinking your ability to handle certain things mean you're strong. No, you just have become conditioned to be numb. Well, this is how it's going to be. Oh, man, this is how it's going to be. Oh, man, you know, my parents was like this, so this is how it's going to be. You know, I come from a lineage of this, that, and the other, so this is how it's going to be. And that's where you messed up at. Because you start thinking that you're strong because you're maneuvering in this life, but nah, you weak. And there's nothing wrong with being weak. There's nothing wrong with being weak because like the song says, when I am weak, he is strong. That's why I believe that God allows certain things to happen. He allows certain things to happen because those are the moments that you need to be vulnerable to depend on God. If you're able to pick up the phone and ask people for money all the time and they always give it to you, you know what I'm saying? I had this conversation, then I'm going to be done. I had this conversation one time with my grandma and we were talking and, you know, we were just talking about, you know, just everything. And we were just talking about, you know, people borrowing money. And I told her this and I was telling her this for so long. And that last stage in her life, she finally started getting it, right? And I started telling her, I'm like, listen, Ma, you helping out or you think that you helping out is really hindering. Because if a person thinks that every time they pick up that phone, you're going to give it to them, guess what they do? They don't even try. And then I told her, but the moment you start saying no, they're going to reveal how they really feel about you. See, the moment she starts saying no, they had to blame somebody, right? And it was normally me. Oh, man, you know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 and this, that, and other. But I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did not care, right? But I told her, I said, the moment you start saying no, they're going to reveal how they really feel. and you're doing something out of love, and they're doing something because this is just what you've been doing. So what if God wanted them to struggle so they can depend on him? A lot of times, right? You know, you look at strength and you like, oh man, my bills is due. I don't know how I'm gonna pay it. I'm depending on God. No. Your bills are due every month. But if you got Jordans, if you taking trips, if you doing all of this other type of stuff, and every month you talking about my bills is due, I'm praying that God come through and this, that, and other, that's a you problem, because them bills are due every month. Every month those bills are due. You choose to buy the Jordans to go look good for somebody who don't care. You chose to take the trip so you can take the pictures, but little do you know, after you put down that camera, you still asking people for money to get home. That's you. That's you. So you can't sit back and, I don't know how I'm going to make it, this, that, and other. A lot of times it's you. So anyways, man, I know this was a long one. I ain't been on here in a minute, but you know what I'm saying? Just, I hope somebody got something out of this, because I know I'm talking to somebody out there. Anyways, man, y'all be safe.
Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.